And we are recording. I'm starting to feed on Facebook too.
I got it open. I'm waiting.
I should have sent y'all an invite.
Hold up. Yeah, here we go.
Would have been nice.
Got it.
6 minutes until showtime.
Is it allowing you to join the feed?
Hmm?
Is it allowing you to join the live feed?
Here, no. I only see you. It says Rico Live.
Video has no sound.
Let me see.
Maybe I have to go through my settings. See the tags.
5 minutes until showtime.
Five minutes, folks, and we are live. I'm gonna have to turn you down.
Uh-oh. Oh, send a join request.
Where you at, Karnage?
It says send a join to request. I'm pressing it,
Yeah, it takes a little bit.
but you gotta press and hold it or something.
Nah, you gotta have a better device.
You know what?
4 minutes until showtime.
Are you watching the feed? Because if you pop up in the feed, it should give me the option to bring you in.
I'm on it. Oh, that's. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. I don't know why it's not letting me join.
Try the second one.
There's a second one.
Yeah, when I went into the second one, it allowed me in.
I'm saying send a join. I'm like, how do you send one?
Send the request to Rico.
Pressing, but it ain't doing shit.
Yes, no?
Right there, man.
3
That's what
minutes
I'm pressing.
until
It ain't doing
showtime.
that.
When was the last time you updated your Facebook app?
Oh, my
You
apps
never.
update. My apps update automatically. I ain't gotta worry about that.
I see you as a viewer, but it won't allow your viewers to request a join. Same profile.
Facebook Live don't like me. That's because I started that whole Zuckerberg shit, huh? No problem.
If that
2
was the case, we
minutes
will all be
until
banned.
showtime.
I had to be one of amongst the first 200 to start calling that motherfucker Zuckerberg. Like, punk ass Zuckerberg. He said, wait till the next time you try to go live, motherfucker.
Said I got something for you.
Mm-hmm. You have to go live on Instagram. Yeah, that shit ain't letting me do it.
Have you ever gone live on your phone?
Nope.
Yeah.
That's probably why.
All right, we got like a minute, 30 seconds.
1 minute until showtime.
Lena never been live. It's our first time. Yeah.
Surprise time for everything now.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna be live today. That shit is not letting no brother through.
It's not letting you?
Nope. That shit like, I see the second request. I'm pressing that and ain't shit happening. Okay. But I can share it. Ain't that a bitch? I said, you can't join, but you can share.
You know what it is? It's probably because your fucking account is private.
Oh. Yeah, mine's.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Uh-oh.
Blog Talk Radio.
Not now.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
So what you don't understand
Is that why you are
is
here?
it's more than just a radio show. It's a way of life. It's our life.
This is Masta, the Lena.
Send the infantry. My lord, you lead them. It ain't over till it's over. Some of my niggas at it's on, it's on, it's on. They ain't bringing up soldiers. And we about to clear the zone, clear the zone, clear the zone. It ain't over till it's over. Some of my niggas at it's on, it's on, it's on. They ain't bringing up soldiers. And we about to bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. Just bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. Just bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. Just bring it. Just bring it. Just bring it.
Welcome back. What's good, world? Welcome back to episode 5, season 2 of Allies of the Throne Radio, hosted by yours truly, Rest100. If you didn't already know, my co-host Karnage, Cashman, and the amazing Miss Lena. And welcome to our podcast where we talk about real life issues and mental illness. This episode is called Suicidal Thoughts, and we have a special guest today as well. Dungeon Master. Stay tuned in because at the top of the hour we'll be getting live and direct with the OG himself. So be sure to stay tuned for that interview. Special thanks to our sponsors, Rest100.com and Wave Runners Publishing LLC, because without them, we wouldn't have a platform to speak our mind. And how's everybody's day going?
Far so good.
We back in the driver's seat, folks.
Oh,
Yes, we are.
It's a beautiful life.
That's
It's
good.
a so cinco.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is that, like, you know, a lot of people, they they tune into our show, and like we talk about mental illness and we talk about the uh different steps and stages of going through that, but we still manage to smile through it all because without that you just doomed forever.
Mhm.
Yeah, if I
Pretty
can't do
much.
that, like, it's all over. Gotta do
Mhm.
something.
So we are discussing suicidal thoughts today, which I felt was an appropriate topic, not only because this is something that people have already been experiencing uh, in the past, but due to COVID-19, there have been spikes of people calling into suicidal hotlines, people calling out to different organizations because they don't even know what to do anymore in reference to losing jobs, not having an income. A lot of people not even getting unemployment that actually need the assistance. Government facilities closing, small businesses is closing. Like the world as we know it for a lot of people is just crumbling right before their eyes. Um, I don't know if y'all areas because the way we're able to do our radio show is because of the internet. But I'm in the Midwest. You guys are on the East Coast. Are y'all seeing any dramatic changes or any disruptions in y'all local community that would hint towards signs of this happening in your own neighborhood or your own backyard?
Oh yeah, we have what do you call that? Curfews.
Mm.
At 10 o'clock, businesses have to be closed.
Mhm.
Could you
So
imagine being a grown ass person being told that
and you're being told.
you gotta be home. You're not allowed to be outside right now. This is crazy.
And now they're encouraging you to wear your mask not only in the outside, but in your home.
Mm. I don't see. I mean, I understand if you're around somebody who isn't direct family, but I really don't see the the purpose of wearing a mask in your house.
Well, they feel that you should, whether or not it's a family member or not, that you should wear your mask. I don't see why if you're home.
I mean, if you by yourself, I've seen people in the car by themselves driving around with a mask on. Like, what purpose does that serve? Are you
That's
protecting the
fear.
steering wheel?
For me, that's fear.
I mean, yeah, that's
That's the
definitely. That's, but that's what they're doing out here. Like Lena said, right now New York's got it the worst, in my opinion, because
mhm.
between them and the city areas of California, that's where you're really seeing certain things. Like
Hmm.
out there, they're seeing trucks rolling by with potted water and things of that nature, like they're about to shut areas down.
Right.
In New York, Lena's saying they got curfews. They make sure everything's shut down at a certain time, so they're already getting you used to being off of the streets at a set time to a
Mm.
point to where it's just permanent.
Now, what's
Mhm.
crazy is that like our focus from a global aspect is so local when we're discussing the pandemic and how it's affecting everybody mentally that we don't even really tend to think outside of our borders. I was just looking at an article not too long ago that was saying that suicide had claimed more Japanese lives in October than 10 months of COVID. So
Mm.
people are literally killing themselves in alarming rates outside of the virus itself.
Oh yeah, life is continuing, and because of what we're looking at as far as what the media is showing us for the death toll of COVID and things of that nature, we tend to forget about everything else that's going on that people are doing, people are not doing. There's still life, death going on, and it has nothing to do with
Mhm.
COVID.
Right.
It's just that's why I mean, not that it's not serious, but I think the distraction of it is a little, I wouldn't say greater than the risk, but it's almost a fair 50-50 split at this point because the way they advertise it is fear induced. And then
Mhm.
the issue itself is a problem. Nobody wants to catch COVID. Nobody wants to be sick. So
I mean, not to mention, not just the pandemic, but also work related stress. You figure you
Hmm.
got people who are working for major corporations. I know Apple was under the spotlight at one point. They actually put suicide jump nets outside of the buildings of their facilities for employees who just wanted to kill themselves.
Wow.
Now they also they
That's
said
really
they
that's
said to date that more than 17,000 people um, have taken their own lives this year in Japan.
Hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
these are self-inflicted deaths. You know what I mean? Like these are people literally saying like there's no point in me living anymore. And it's hard for the average person with a good career, a steady income or anything of that nature to come to terms with ending their lives because they have so much to look forward to. But when you have a nation oppressed, you have a nation economically crippled, you have pretty much everybody around you on the same vibration of failure. There's no positivity to talk about there, you
and
know.
then it's tough too because you have to get used to being at home where you didn't take care of your kids. You had a nanny.
Hmm.
You you were constantly out the house,
Right.
Hmm.
and you didn't see your partner till late at night. Now you all up in their face.
Hmm.
It's a whole different environment,
Yeah,
Right.
well,
and
it's
that's when a lot of people start getting on each other's nerves. And I can't do this anymore.
And it's in your face. That's the biggest part, is that it's in your face. A lot of people, I know a lot of people personally who went to work to escape a lot of their problems. I'm gonna go to work and I'm not gonna have to worry about it. No,
Hmm.
hmm
your ass gonna be right here, deal with it 24/7. I know domestic violence is on the rise. I know suicide rates are on the rise. I know
Hmm.
eternity.
abuse is on the rise. Because I can only imagine how some of these parents are dealing with their kids, and I know personally, like I have 6 children, so I struggle with trying to keep track of all of them at the same time. But just today I got an email from one of the teachers who was, I guess they can remote access the kid's computer and kind of see what
Hmm.
they're doing. Apparently, my daughter's watching Pinterest while she's in algebra class, and you're fucking failing. So like,
What?
you're supposed to be the oldest. You're supposed to be the person that we rely on to be the most responsible. And now we got to kind of watch you like a hawk. So your grades are not slipping because all of this is a direct reflection on the parent. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But then she'll, and I feel like this is a big thing with teenagers. And why I bring up teenagers is because that's another high community that has a high suicide rate, because they have so much, well, not so much now, but a lot of peer pressure going on, a lot of
Hmm.
different things pushing them in a direction, whether it's their parents, they don't agree with what their parents are doing, or they have a sibling rivalry, or they feel like somebody's getting treated better than the other. It's hard to have equality in a household of a big family because many factors are not taken into consideration when the family is so large, due to the fact that you know their sights are so narrow. They can only see what's in front of them. They're not really focused on the bigger picture. They're not really focused on the main objective or the main idea. And it's frustrating as a parent because you want to give your kid the best of everything. You want to be able to talk to your kid, but then at the same time, parents struggle with being a friend and then being a parent. It's like you can't be both because
Hmm.
they're gonna look at you as a friend and then you're gonna feel disrespected at some points because we're not fucking friends. I'm here to raise you. I'm here to make sure
Hmm.
you're successful. I'm here to make sure you proceed through life in a way that is respectable and that you understand that shit is different once you move out the nest. Once
Hmm.
you get out in the real world and once you're on your own and once you got to figure it out, shit is a lot different. And I feel like a lot of people forget about that. They're so concerned with the social uh, the social feel of having that connection with a child. And then all of a sudden, 16, 17, they pregnant. Uh, Nobody fucking is able to, explain this or talk about it because you spent so much time being a friend instead of a parent.
Hmm.
Or you're not a parent at all and they're looking for love elsewhere.
Correct.
Okay, so I know that for a fact.
Hmm.
My When I was 15, that was the most intense time because you're not really an adult and you're past your preteen. You're trying to figure out who the hell you are and what
A
you want
lot
to
of
do in
hormones
life.
racing, a lot of
It,
different going on.
it was a lot of stuff, and
Indeed.
hanging out with the wrong crowd.
Hmm.
That's the
I had
biggest
it
thing.
rough,
Did
See
you
that? That's the
in high
biggest
school
thing for a teenager, though.
and
Like
that was one of the first times
coming
that
up.
I've tried suicide too. So
Mm,
as a teenager?
I became a cutter, so I can cut myself, and my parents never knew.
Mm.
mm,
You tend to wear like a lot of long sleeves and stuff like that and hotties.
Oh, I hid.
Hmm.
I hid a lot.
mm.
That's
I did
crazy.
it on my legs, on my arms, my hands, and then I was a fast healer, so they didn't really catch a lot of the wounds.
Hmm.
So it was rough growing up.
Did you struggle at all in high school, Carnage?
Well, basically, high school was a crazy time. Like at one point, I was in a somewhat diverse area, but not really. To a point where I was in the area that was where it's predominantly European, if you will. Then towards my almost sophomore year, I came to a school that, believe it or not, was predominantly predominantly like full of our own people. It's like a lot of Hindus, Trinidadian, you know, Americans. And I was just like, wow, I ain't never seen it like this before. I mean, there was some, of course, there was some white people there, but it was just we were the majority, and that was the most fights I ever had in high school. I was like torn. Like
Hmm.
I thought I was good. I thought I was in the promised land.
Right.
Nah,
So you said your high school uh consists of a predominant Caucasian demographic.
right. For my freshman year, then like the other half of my freshman year going to my sophomore year, it's
Hmm.
changed to where it was more, more brown, and that's where I had my most fights, and I was just like, wow, like
And
amongst
what's
my own
crazy,
people.
yeah,
Like,
what's crazy is that you know we inherits somewhat of a tribalism
hmm.
ideology, and we feel a need to defend it or we feel a need to protect it when it's really nothing to protect. I mean, honestly, like people are people, no matter what
Hmm.
color they are. But when you're so young,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. It's it's kind of like you revert to the most primal of instincts because you don't know no better.
Hmm.
Now, being in a school of that demographic for you so early on, did you feel like outcasted? Did you feel like something was wrong as far as you were concerned?
Well, I pretty much knew what it was. So when I went to school and I seen it for myself, it was pretty much what my uncles, what my father, what my mother was pretty much telling me what I seen on Eyes on the Prize or whatever. It was pretty much what I was basically being, I want to say, conditioned to have to accept and deal with, so that
Mm,
I don't get the misconception that maybe something's wrong with me, or it's like know what it is before you get there, so
right.
and so it wasn't no big surprise, but it was definitely crazy, the experience of going through it and actually seeing it for myself. Like, yo, they call you nigga to your face in this school. Like, word,
Right.
okay, I'm gonna have to drop a few, and then I went to my other school and seen it was different, and I had more fights there than I had the other one. I was like, I don't get it. Like, but it was a good lesson. It was like, listen, not everybody's your brother, and
Hmm.
that's something you got to learn. And that was something I had to learn. So the next Next school I went to, much more diverse, where it was more of a mix of everybody.
Hmm.
I'd already had my lessons, so it was much easier. It was a much easier transition. It was like, oh, I already know how to move.
Right. I think for me, like, I used what's weird is that you don't know you're having suicidal thoughts until you get older and then you start realizing what they were really about. And
Mm,
as far as I can remember, I remember my first time thinking of just not wanting to be here no more was when my mom had passed away and I was 11. You know what I'm saying? And I just like food, I wasn't hungry. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to do nothing. And it
Yeah,
was
the
like,
depression.
right. It was easier to just sink into nothing as opposed to want to be outside with my friends or want to talk and this, that, and the third. And when you lose a parent at such a young age, it should be on the agenda to speak to somebody, a professional, in regards to what you're feeling, what you're going through, because handling a lot of that alone while still trying to mentally mature and still trying to figure out what's life and who you are as a human being
yeah, that's
is
rough.
tough. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, to be casted not only away from biological family, but into strangers' homes as a foster child, and
Hmm.
then to switch homes periodically because the amount of children in your immediate family was just too much for one household to handle because technically you're not their problem. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like when I got to high school is when I really started knowing that, like, even though, like, I would consider myself the class clown at the time, but it was a mask for me to avoid dealing with what I had going on in my mind, what I had going on behind the scenes. Because behind the scenes, after school hours, I was basically a prisoner in my own home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't
Yeah.
allowed to go nowhere. I wasn't allowed to do nothing. I couldn't leave I
Hmm.
don't remember leaving the fucking block until I turned 16. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of pushed me in a direction that, like, had I been allowed to do a lot of the things that I grew up not doing, like sports and extracurricular activities and things of that nature, I wouldn't have been so focused on the bullshit that I was focused on when I actually had a chance to get out of the house. And I understand how people feel when they're incarcerated for years on end and never been able to experience certain things. You just want to lash out, you want to break out,
Hmm.
do whatever. And then people's like, oh, you should know better. How the fuck do you know better when you've been treated like a criminal your entire life
Right.
for no crime whatsoever?
When you're in a caged environment, how would you know better?
Right.
You've only learned one thing: don't move.
Exactly. You stay here, do this, clean this. You know what I mean? Like that,
Hmm.
those are not loving traits. Those are not things that you wanna.
And I was the opposite. I didn't really have my family around, so I was always at a club.
Mm.
I got
As a
into
teenager,
clubs at that time. Yeah,
really.
I was 15 in a club.
You
Mm.
tell me about it. So was I. Only I was doing the wrong thing.
When I tell you, I've been through it all, seen it all. I've seen things I don't even want to remember.
Right.
Oh, I
You know,
remember all of it.
I don't want to remember them.
So
That's why I'm the way I
when
am
you
with my
said
son.
when you said that, like, you were hiding, like, the cuts and everything like that, like, what would you say was your reasoning for self-inflicting pain?
I was molested at 5 by
Mm.
a church person.
Mm.
Okay.
Praise Jesus, as they would say.
Yeah. It was a church person. I told my parents, and my parents took the church over their own daughter.
Really.
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
So in their eyes, you was just lying.
Hmm.
Denial.
And then, like a few years later, it happened to my sister too. So it was like, hello, you know, y'all don't believe
I
this
guess
is
that was her fault.
happening. Yeah, so they believe more in the church than they did what we were saying, what was
And
going on
It
and
was
that goes
in the
that goes
church.
brainwash.
right back to the tribalistic mentality and the habit that people have to keep a persona going. You know, it's more important to protect how I look in front of the masses than to protect my own family. You know what I'm saying? And nobody wants to feel outcasted. Nobody wants to be called a liar. Nobody wants to be removed from what they would consider normal. But like when you have something like that happen, which it happens all the time, it
I
happens.
was told to keep it to myself. Don't say anything, you know, whatever. So most of my teenage years, I was rebelling.
That's two. That's two
You know,
things. That's definitely two things. That's guilt and denial. Why would your own
I
parents tell
was.
you to
That's why I was
forget about it,
angry all the
sweep it
time.
under the rug? It's what
Mhm.
that is guilt because they know that's their fault. They
Hmm.
know they
Mhm.
wasn't involved. They know that happened under their nose, on their guard. That's their fault. And rather than admitting it and facing the church, they want to put the blame somewhere else and stay in
Mhm.
denial.
Hmm.
That's brainwash. That's and because it's the church, like really? So you
So,
embracing something
And
that's
then for
harming
me it
your
was
family.
tough because my parents are Jehovah Witnesses.
hmm
I never got baptized. Didn't like the religion,
Mm-mm-mm.
didn't want to be around the religion, and that's
hmm
why I got tattoos too, to prove to my father I don't want nothing to do with that religion whatsoever.
Now,
You know, because
do you feel like because of what happened to you directly correlated to why you didn't want to be involved?
yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when you went to the elders to speak to them, because you know you guys have pastors, we call them elders.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go over there, they're like, no, no, don't say nothing, because then we gotta shun you out of the religion, and just keep it to yourself.
But nobody's saying nothing about the perpetrator. They're just saying
Right.
something about the
No, and
person
the
making the claim.
perpetrator was a female.
Wow.
So you'll be surprised, so it's like it wasn't even a guy, it was a girl.
Mm-hmm.
So it was rough, and then my parents didn't want anyone to know, and that left me confused for years, like, well, am I into girls or am I into guys?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm
Mm-mm-mm.
fully into guys,
Right.
and but I did at that time, you don't know because you're still a kid that is growing up, going to school, trying to figure out why this happened to you. Why can't I be asking? I'm very. You see me. I'm someone who would like express myself
Mm-hmm.
because I was told for years, don't express yourself. So
Right.
now it's like, can't shut me up.
Right.
You're
Right.
not gonna shut me up, and I rather say my story so when other people come out, they can say theirs.
Mm.
So that's my thing. And then I hit suicide again when I got divorced after being in an abusive relationship. And I think that was also another way to get in, to who I had a predator, you know.
Well, put a pen in that though. We're gonna take a little break real quick, play some music, and we're gonna pick up on that right after this break. It's
Hmm.
Allies of the Throne Radio, Season 2, Episode 5. Stay tuned. Top of the hour, we got Dungeon Master tuning in and live and direct for his interview. It's Allies of the Throne Radio. Peace.
Peace.
Eyes dry as hell. This fucking green light is like,
I
yeah.
thought
I
you was
was
trying
like,
to throw the light in your face or something.
I
I
was
was,
like,
I was
yeah, that
like,
light was
I heard
killing. I
the
was like,
ding,
Yo, peace,
Jesus
peace,
Christ. Yeah,
ding, ding.
shit was killing me.
peace. Hello.
Very low.
Yo,
Speak
what
up,
up?
fella.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
You hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There
We
you
was just
go.
letting you know. We was just letting you know that we see you over there, and we're gonna pull you in at 8 o'clock. We're gonna start the segment off with one of your songs before the top of the hour, and then we're gonna pull you in.
All right, cool. So I'm about to roll up anyway.
All right, that's straight. It's a
You
problem.
and me both.
But
Yellow time.
yeah, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. But not for nothing. This is exactly why I do honestly, wholeheartedly believe. And let me just look dead face first in the camera so them crabs can hear me. Like, yo, all y'all doctrines of divinity come from the Vatican. So you ain't divine in no way, shape, form, or fashion. And all you cats running around calling yourself prophets, you ain't no fucking prophet, bro. And you know
Let
this.
let it be known that the views of each and individual host of this show is not taken
Oh,
by
these are
every.
solely my own views.
I just want that disclaimer to be out.
I'm wearing the perfect thing. I got my evil eye. Keep y'all stuff to yourself. Don't project it this way.
What? You know, I ain't got to throw no bad juju at me. You know what I'm saying? Find my piece from my past. You know what I mean? However, that man may feel, he gonna express in his own way.
And I ain't ashamed to say that, yeah, that's how I feel about you.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all some rotten motherfuckers, man. Y'all know who y'all are. And there's plenty cats that are in religions that ain't like that. But for the ones that are, that know what they doing,
Yeah, it took me a long time, but I've been through everything. I've been to a Baptist church. I've been to the native stuff. I've been through all of pretty much everything.
Mm,
Buddhist,
that's wild.
Catholic,
y'all already know,
Christianity,
man.
Protestant.
Y'all cats out there playing with it. Y'all already know what's gonna happen to y'all. So y'all keep go ahead doing what y'all doing to
But
the
at the
people.
end of the day, you can pick whatever path you want. It's a one.
Let me check this song real quick.
Fuck false prophets, cause
One.
my niggas only need to eat. My niggas only need to eat. I was destined to come. I was destined to come. I was destined to come.
Just had to start that next one. But yeah, um, we're gonna go into. We already started off with like the teenage suicidal and everything. We're going because I had several experiences in my last relationship where I wanted to take my own life. So that's a perfect topic to keep continuing on with that, and then we'll wrap it up at the top of the hour to bring Dungeon uh, on for his interview.
Mm-hmm.
But we got a little over 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Tree, any notes?
Yeah, I see the time up here.
Someone named Donna Burnett on the check
Uh,
in.
oh, that's my mom.
Hey,
Hi, mom. Um,
peace and love. Shout out to all the moms out there handling the business. You are appreciated.
yes, sir. We need to figure out what's going on with your Facebook Live, man, because they missing a whole third party of this conversation on the live stream.
For real.
And today we don't have the cat coming in.
I know, right? Felix the cat ain't
Where's
stroll
the
on in.
cat
Oh, because that
at?
motherfucker sleep on his chair.
Oh,
Okay.
took a night night.
I closed the door thinking he was out there. I just turned around like, oh, this motherfucker's in
He was like, "You ain't finna keep me."
Yeah. He
here.
knows the
Gotta
show
be.
is on.
Hmm. He says it's time to tune in. We live. We
As
live.
long as he sit his ass right there and don't get up, we good.
Hmm.
Nobody getting paid, neither is your fucking cameos. You want to be like Diddy and everybody shit. Sit your ass, man.
That's tough. We got about 60 seconds for the song is over, and we back live, folks.
Alrighty.
Alrighty then.
Oh, fucking game clap, you hear that? This insane rap. We in a different lane rap. He ain't have to say my name. Damn, nigga, shame rap. Always in the hood, hungry. Guess who the fool? Guess who the fool? Red October, what the fuck could you do? Just cause I'm focused on rap, don't be focused on that. I'm always loaded and strapped. Yeah. And just cause I'm focused on rap, don't be focused on that. I'm always loaded and strapped.
We are back. Thank you for tuning in. This is Allies of the Throne Radio, Season 2, Episode 5, hosted by yours truly, Rest 100. If you didn't already know, my co host, Carnage Cashman, and the amazing Miss Lena. Welcome to our podcast again, where we talk about real life issues as well as mental illnesses. This episode is called Suicidal Thoughts. And our guest today that we are going to bring out to the world at 8 p.m. is Dungeon Masta at the top of the hour. So be sure you stay tuned for that interview. And special thanks to our sponsors, Rest100.com and Wave Runners Publishing LLC, because without them, we wouldn't have a platform to be able to speak up.
I can't hear you. Technical difficulties.
We are experiencing.
There you go.
There
Nope.
he went. Oh shit. Nobody panic. Look natural. Stare straight until the issue is fixed. Oh, see? I don't hear anything and he's panicking. That's a problem.
What? Keep talking.
Oh, we're talking.
Yes.
Seems like Russ wants us to
Sorry,
keep
we
talking
had
while he's.
difficulties. So let's keep walking through this.
Let's.
So the last time, the second suicidal attempt that I had was when I was divorcing. So that was the most intense because there I actually had to go and get in a psych ward.
Mm,
And let me tell you, don't do it. Don't try it. It's not
mm,
nice. It's not a nice place. It's you're constantly being watched,
tested, I'm sure.
tested,
Mm,
and then they have you do like several um psych classes. So yeah, it's several psych classes. You have to
Okay.
go and sit and okay. And attend these classes with other folks going through their things. It was me and two other people that had cutting. Then you have the bipolar. Then you had the other kinds of depression,
mm.
and then you have the people that didn't see reality at all. And we all sit in a group sessions. It was insane.
That's got to be brain
Literally.
warping in itself. Like,
And
how
and
you.
let me tell you, to this
Mm,
day, I wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm not there no more. Because you remember being in there. It
Right.
doesn't go away
Right.
at
um,
all. I
Do
had
you
an
think
orderly.
do you think
Uh,
it's more traumatizing to go through the recovery than it is the actual?
yes. I'm sorry to say it, but yes.
I would have to ask, like, what does that do when you're in a group of people
See,
that
like
be in a group with a group of people, like, even if it's a group of 20 and let's say eight of them are like gone,
yeah, they're completely gone. And
like,
and
how does
then it
that
was
help you?
it was sad too to see family. My family couldn't come and see me because where we were at, we were way too far,
Hmm.
Mm,
and they couldn't make it to see me. So I never had family day or whatever. So I would see everybody else with their family. I would talk to my family over the phone. So it was even lonelier for me, you
Hmm.
know. and it was more intense for me to be in there
Mm.
because it wasn't something that I ever did, like to be in a counseling session. And it was, I'm not a person that likes to be in a group session at all.
Right. Right.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
seek
that.
that kind of thing at all. And then to be that vulnerable with a bunch of strangers, nah.
Mm.
you
So
know,
was this experience pre-marriage or post-marriage?
after.
After marriage.
hmm because I just finished moving in with my family,
Hmm.
coming back from that. Because I left him and moved in with my family. So, I got cut off from my marriage. I come in and see my family health was insane, and
Hmm.
then trying to do this life on my own. How am I gonna
Right.
do this? So
Because
it
you was
was
already
like,
accustomed to a certain lifestyle being with him for so long,
yeah,
and then having to basically take the trainer wheels off and do it all on your own.
on my own.
Hmm.
It was really intense for me. It's not something that I did, on my own at all. I was literally married out of my family. I was
Mm.
living with my family and he married me out. It wasn't like I was out and about already in different relationships or stuff like that. I wasn't doing that.
Mm.
But it was the roughest part was to say goodbye to that marriage after being with this person for so long,
Right.
you know. But it was insane being inside that facility. And then on top of that, I worked for a hospital. So I was looked at like a mole and not a
Mm.
patient.
Mm.
They thought I was there to see how they treat the patients in there.
Right. And not actually get help yourself.
Mm.
And
So
what's
it was more
crazy,
intense.
the crazy thing about it is that like you go through such a metamorphosis when you're in a relationship. Now,
Mhm.
if the relationship is good, you know what I mean, it's a positive metamorphosis. But when it's negative, you the person who's trying to make the best out of it tend to feel the most trauma in the end when it's all said and done. Now, I could honestly say that like my first marriage, you know what I mean, I had like this weird honorable ideology about, you know, the way things should be. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't because of the right reasons why I got. I mean, at the time it seemed like the right reasons, but they weren't in the long run. Like she was pregnant with my first daughter, so I felt like I needed to marry her in order to make it serious, not only to her but to myself, that I'm not gonna repeat history and do what my dad was doing, and I'm not gonna see her struggling as a single mother like my mom was doing. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of my fucked up childhood that kind of etched this ideology of how I should be as a man. You know what I'm saying? And then blotches of different foster parents and different relatives adding their input into that ideology as well. But the messed up thing about it is that like you know I wanted the focus to be on raising our kid. I wanted the focus to be not so much on struggling to survive, but making sure that they're being raised properly. So I did all the work and I made sure the bills were covered. I made sure uh, food was in the house and everything like that. I worked endless hours to do so, which separated me from the household. But in essence, it also separated me from the mental aspect of connecting with my spouse. And I feel like in the long run, I had to I had to pay for that uh, in hindsight because I feel like I had to lose more than I gained initially by doing everything that I was doing for our children, for her as the mother of our children. And that pushed me away from her emotionally. That pushed me away from the relationship. That pushed me away from just kind of like anything to do with her because I didn't feel like I was getting the same kind of effort in return when it came to going above and beyond for my family.
Mhm.
And and what happened was I got drugged through a long divorce uh, that pretty much ended with me having to fight a some kind of like domestic order or whatever because the path that she chose to take was like defamation of character. You know what I'm saying? So instead of her just wanting to step away from the relationship and us work things out, she wanted to use that as an excuse to get whatever resources she could get from the state. And I don't give a fuck what you do. You know what I'm saying? You just can't throw dirt on my name because I'm a stand up dude at the end of the day. And I've seen this happen
Hmm.
right before my eyes. So for you to make claims that this is something I'm doing, I can't stand by and allow it. So between paying lawyers, the same money I could have been using for my kids, between losing time from seeing my kids because she was withholding them, I had to um, pay an attorney to write up a parenting schedule and get it approved through the court to where, she can't keep my kids from me because I went almost 3 months without seeing my kids, and my youngest had just been born.
Wow.
Like I wasn't even in the hospital when he was born. You know what I'm saying? And that bothers me to this day because, like I said, everything that I've done thus far has been for them, has been, you know what I mean? And I took a huge landslide um, after the breakup, and I was with a lot of different females at the time. I didn't really like claim anybody. I was drinking a lot. I was a club promoter at the time. I was constantly doing different concerts and stuff like that. And like I remember on two occasions where like my drink of choice at the time was Bacardi 151, which is pure fucking jet fuel gasoline. If
Straight
anybody's
seven.
ever had it, that
Straight
Real.
sevens.
is two shots and you pretty much fucked up.
I used to
But
finish those
right,
small bottles. We ain't even gonna go
nah,
there.
nah, I had the
Yeah, the worst one for me was the E&J. I will never do that again.
Little Earl and James.
I remember on a few occasions literally blacking out from drinking so much. I think one time uh I woke up on the floor in my neighbor's house in my underwear. And I'm like looking around, I'm like, this ain't my
Oh
house.
my
How did
god.
I get here? They was like, well, you came over and you didn't seem hostile or anything, so we just kind of let you lay there and just relax for a little bit. You was a little distraught, but we figure you're all right. You never seem to be, out there. I'm like, all right, well, thanks. I gotta go. I just kind of like ran out the door of my drunk.
Ouch.
And I remember being at a bar with one of my roommates at the time, and I just remember just sitting on some random person's porch, and me and him is just sitting there crying. I don't even know what we're fucking
Fuck.
crying. Like, I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand either. We're just like, we're holding the bottle and we're just fucking crying. It's like, I think he
Balling.
was going through something with his ex or whatever. I think she was like pregnant or something, and she wasn't trying to be with him. And then I was going through my divorce, and it's just like all of that emotion just kind of gets buried at some point. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
when you have to actually deal with the emotion, it's a lot harder. I feel like as a man to deal with it because we're just built different. You know what I mean? Like we wanna
Yeah,
be
we're allowed to cry. You guys are not. You
exactly
guys you guys can't express your emotions the way we do.
right.
You know,
Well,
I unfortunately I'm a
mm,
person that don't express it.
Hmm.
I don't cry in front of people. I don't do any of that. And when you see me cry, I get really pissed off at myself. I internalize instead
Because you
of
feel like it's a
express.
weakness.
Yeah.
Hmm.
see, I don't feel as if. I mean, yeah, it's looked at. and frowned upon for men to show whatever emotions, but I just don't feel that way.
Not
If
every
I
guy is
mean,
like that though.
yeah, I mean, a lot of
we
men
we talking about the status quo
they
of the
do that.
world for the most
Yeah,
part.
Exactly, for the most part.
yeah. Me
They
personally, I just don't feel that way. If you gotta cry, let it out, bro. Like,
mm,
You
now,
see, and
granted, if
I
you're
got
around a
I
group of people, you ain't supposed to be sitting there bawling out like, everything in its due
laying on the
time,
floor in the fetal position.
right? Shaking, talking about whatever. I mean, if if you can sit there and act all crazy and act all tough, be crying is frowned upon. So you could be a misfit and go tear shit up, but you can't show some emotion about something that's bothering or ailing you.
Hmm.
That's just how twisted society gets these days. Like that's hilarious. It really is. It's like, okay, I'm trying to marinate on that one, but it ain't gonna last long.
Right. And to be honest with you, I think what really stopped me from going over the deep end on those few occasions was that the void that would have been created for my kids. Because again, this is all history that I've been through, that my sole mission, I feel as if, is to not repeat history. So
yep.
by me removing myself from the equation, or thinking that I'm doing myself some kind of favor by removing myself from the equation, I'm creating another issue. You know, I got a brother who's schizophrenic. You know what I mean?
I have
I
an
don't,
uncle like that.
and this didn't happen until like his mid 20s. You know what I mean? The
Hmm.
whole while, we thought everything was okay, and then one day he just fucking bugged out, and like nobody could understand it. And in the midst of him bugging out, what I mean, he was doing criminal activity. So not only did they treat him like a criminal first, but they fucking, they try to keep him locked up because of his mental illness, trying to say that he's a threat to society. You know what I mean? And it's fucked up because, you know, I know my brother. You know what I mean? I know what he's capable of, and I know when he's being genuine. I know when he's lying. I know when he's this and that. But at the same time, it sucks to see him dragged through the mud like that. It sucks to see him suffering like that, because who the fuck are we supposed to talk to? Who are we supposed to be able to?
Look, and growing up, I'm Latina, and growing up that way, the culture alone, you don't talk about mental illness. That's not something that you want. You don't want to be labeled crazy.
Mm-hmm. And
And
and I feel like crazy is such a fucked up label anyway, because there's so many different levels to,
levels. Hmm.
what I mean, to just write it off as crazy is really dismissive. And I feel like most people, they don't really pay attention to it until it's at their front doorstep. So now either
And like me,
so,
mine is it's called dissociative disorder. I
mm,
can totally just think of a place of anywhere, and I'll be zoop out the door, and you'll be talking to me, and you're not really talking to me.
mhm. You
So
got
it
one
was
of them
easy.
back in 15 minutes on lunch break signs.
Yup. See you later, and I'm out. That I would check out on you. And I used to do that with alcohol. They call
Mm,
me a functional alcoholic. I
mm,
can literally like, and my drink of choice was straight up vodka. The stronger the vodka, the better.
right.
And I can totally have a whole conversation with you.
Mm,
Don't know you.
mm.
I've had people come up to me in trains and be like, "I remember you," and I'm looking at them like, "I don't know
I don't
you."
know you.
Who the hell are you talking to?
Right.
I don't know
Right.
who was talking to you. You weren't talking to me. Mm.
And like I said, it's all of this underlining stuff that happens behind the scenes that a lot of people don't really get to see, because they haven't been through a certain struggle. They haven't experienced a loss. They haven't experienced a death. They haven't experienced a lack thereof, support system, or something of that nature. And it sucks because if we don't continue to shed light on these issues, if we don't continue to talk about these issues, we're just going to gradually, just like in Japan, see these suicidal numbers continue to rise, see no explanation for why it happened because nobody's discussing it. Nobody wants to bring light to the darkness. Nobody wants to shed light
Mhm.
the main idea. And the main idea, along with fitness and physical health, is mental health. If
Mhm.
you have a healthy mental state, if you don't have a way to basically talk out whatever going through your head, you may be down a path or find yourself down a road that you may think that the only option is to end it.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then there's also medications that they don't talk about that actually put those thoughts into your head.
Mhm.
Hmm.
There's a lot of medications. When I started taking care of my sister with
Hmm.
leukemia, I read the ingredients and everything that's in the meds, and a lot of them you're hallucinating. A lot of them will put thoughts in your head that you have to end yourself.
Hmm.
So it's tough. It's a tough road, and especially when you grow up being told it's a sin to think this way. It's all these different thoughts go into your head, and it's like, but by that time you're not thinking about nobody but yourself.
Right.
And that's why I talk to people about the suicide, because in reality you're not gonna get the answers as to why your family member did do it,
Mhm.
or and that's a that's a closure you got to do for yourself, because they'll give you hints.
Hmm.
Some will leave you like notes, others will give you like their personal stuff that they've been holding on for years, and then all of a sudden give it to your best friend, you give it to your best cousin, you start giving away your stuff. And I didn't have that choice. my
Right.
my brain literally clicked off, grabbed the knife, and went for it, you know. And the next time I woke up, I was in an ambulance with a bunch of cops
Mhm.
dragging me to the emergency room,
Hmm.
and I was stuck there for 3 days trying to figure out what the hell did I do to myself.
Mhm.
you know
That's well.
and
That's
then
wild.
I was locked up in the facility, and you see people worse than you, way worse than you. You hear the stories they tell you, and you're like, "Why did I do this?"
Hmm.
you know, and those thoughts start to come through as well.
Right.
So I try to talk to as many people that are going through it, because I survived it. I did my counseling. I had inpatient and outpatient counseling, and I did it. And then I was written the letter of being excused. You got the bill of health. Off you go.
Right.
But let me tell you, it doesn't go away.
Mhm.
No,
The
those thoughts will
depression stays.
stay right there.
It doesn't go away. It's every day you got to work on yourself, on how to not have those thoughts, not to
Mm.
stay in the negativity.
Well, we're gonna take a little break right now, and when we come back, we're gonna bring our special guest on to the air, Dungeon Master. It's Allies of the Throne Radio. Peace.
Peace.
Listen closely. Don't let your ego get you clouded. Many in the
DC
past have tried.
Stomp. Shout out to 3Q Beats on the track. See,
None.
I share shit.
Yo,
What's good, brother, man?
shit, I'm chilling, B. I'm litty.
Good, good, because we done went down the rabbit hole here a little bit. So we're gonna try to bring we're gonna try to bring some light back to the area by getting your interview done over here in a minute.
Yeah,
But
we don't
like
want
that's a
nobody jumping out a window or slitting their
yeah,
wrists because we
yeah,
damn sure then put
yeah.
the mood in. You know the vibe.
That's what's
Yeah, yeah.
that's our objective, man. We try to shed light on mental illness, but some of us who've experienced it, man, like it's rough to go down those roads again and reminisce. But we do it because other people aren't brave enough to talk about it themselves. So
I love reminiscing about my cuckoo shit.
yeah, yeah. Maybe you can give us some past experiences that you had for our listeners and stuff. That way they can feel like there's something behind the glitz and glamour of Dungeon Master.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I had no problem sharing some thoughts about this shit tonight. You know what I mean?
Hell
Plus,
yeah,
I got some shit to get on my chest any goddamn way. So what
that's
the fuck?
good. That's good.
Cool.
Here we go.
Hell yeah.
It's coming.
So we definitely gonna have some questions and whatever you feel like saying, man. Trust me, to
Feel free.
feel free.
Facts.
Mm.
Ain't corona, ain't corona.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, snap.
Not the
That
one.
was the last thing I was thinking.
You gotta put it out there though, because cats start looking at you like, look, that's chronic, not corona. Relax.
Yeah, you feel me?
Right.
Walk outside and shit. Niggas want you to take a vaccine. Ah, bro, no, I got this motherfucker right here.
Start turning into a mutant and shit. Like, what the fuck going on? Why I got
Feel me?
eyes behind my head now? Hell no. I
Uh-huh.
almost had a
These
fucking
chicks
panic
looking like
attack today.
Maleficent and shit with the wings.
Mm, hell no. I had to take a drug test for a job that I'm trying to get, and I'm sitting in there like a fucking hour waiting to take this drug test. Everybody got masks on. You just hear people coughing and shit. I'm like, yo, the Rona is in this room somewhere. I need to go. I need to
Oh
get the
shit.
fuck
And it ain't
out
in
of
the
here.
bottle either.
Right, right. I got to go. Like, y'all tripping right now. I'm in there. I done brought my cough drops with me just in case I get the urge to call. Like, hold on. No, don't even be looking over here. Ain't no Rona this way. Out of here.
Sticking me with
Right.
nothing.
Hmm. Go in one of them rooms, be like, sir, your temperature is a little high, and we heard a cough. Can you please come with us? No, I
Shit.
need to go.
Yo, it'd be crazy, G, because like when I be traveling, the motherfuckers be trying to sit next to me on the bus. I be looking at them like a dog look at a squirrel. Fuck out of here.
Right. Hey, this
Word.
this song about to wrap up, so we're gonna pull you on right after the song, though, bro.
All right.
Welcome back to Allies of the Throne Radio, Season 2, Episode 5. You are tuned live and direct with your host, truly yours, Rest1 Double O. If you didn't already know, my co-host Karnage, Cashman, and the amazing Miss Lena. Welcome to our podcast where we talk about real life issues and mental illness. And it is now the top of the hour, and we are bringing on special guests of the hour, Dungeon Master. Dungeon Master, what's good, bro?
Woo!
Peace to the gods and earths.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Yeah.
How the hell everybody doing tonight?
Good, 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 man.
Welcome.
We bringing up stories of mental illness from some of our past, some of people we've known, et cetera, et cetera. But now we're gonna take some time to shed some light on the infamous Dungeon Master. You know what I mean? Let our viewers know a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, for those that, you know what I'm saying, that don't know, You know what I'm saying? I came from, you know what I'm saying, the 10th chamber of the Wu-Tang dynasty. You know what I'm saying? Dirty brought me in. You know what I mean? During the time he was locked up, you know what I'm saying? His mother, Cherry Jones, which is like my second mother, you know what I mean? She directed me to Papa Wu. Papa Wu put me under the wing. You know what I mean? Taught me how to engineer. Basically, I learned myself, but you know, he gave me the outlet in the room to do and learn. You know what I mean? That's what I did. And you know what I'm saying? From there, you know what I'm saying, it was just been, you know what I'm saying, one blessing after another. You know what I'm saying? Throughout, you know what I'm saying, it's throughout the trials and tribulations, you know what I'm saying, everybody go through those.
Hmm.
However, during the process after Dirty's death, I came up with an idea of to have something that's gonna not only just gonna like carry his legacy from my angle, but also establish me and whoever that I've said I put down with this idea. And that, you know what I'm saying, that's when I came up with Dirty Klansman. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And all of my brothers is beast. You know what I'm saying? So it's a
Nice.
beautiful thing. That joint right there that just played, that's just a single that we just released, DC Stomp. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Coming from the Legacy Project, which will be coming soon.
Yes,
Hmm.
sir.
Awesome.
Now, how many artists are with the Dirty Clansmen?
Wow. It's
Huge.
yo, it's a lot of us because you know it's a lot. B, you figure like the main heads is like 10 to 12 of us is the main heads.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Everybody else is like family and everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody got they thing to do, but like you know what I'm saying? It's just mainly generals. It's mainly generals. You know what I'm saying? We control our own thing. We come together like Voltron. You know what I'm saying? Put out a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? And let it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? Take the masses.
Hmm. Now, you said that you had linked with Papa Wu, RIP. Um, what did he give you before he passed on? Because I know he had a lot of knowledge and he was a wealth of knowledge, and a lot of him was structuring on us basically walking as higher beings. So what was your direct connection with him, and what do you feel like you've taken from that while he was here in the physical?
Well, like when I first got, you know what I'm saying, when I first got with Papa Wu, I was driving him every place.
Hmm.
So we was always talking. We was always building. He will always, you know what I'm saying, teach me things and everything. And then he'll always curse me the fuck out, you know what I'm saying, whenever I go as a stage left. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm normally go as a stage left a lot of times.
Mm,
So, you know what I'm saying? So Papa, Papa basically, Papa kept me off the streets. You understand what I'm saying?
right.
Like
Oh,
Papa saw the talent that I have and everything, and he saw the passion and the eagerness that I was to learn, and I was always learning. I would sit there behind whoever was engineering. I watched them press buttons and everything, and when everybody leave the studio and I'm there by myself cleaning up, I'm in the motherfucking engineering room pushing them same buttons and everything, running the same thing. I basically self-taught myself how to work in the studio, how to work in a big studio. You know what I'm saying? The first board that I was mixing on was the same board that RZA recorded 36 Chambers on.
Mm,
Mm.
wow.
You know what I
that's a
mean?
piece of
So,
history.
you know what I mean? I
Big
would
history.
I actually went with Papa Wu and them to the Wu Mansion to go pick that up and
Mm.
bring it to the studio when Papa Wu first got that studio.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So that studio was like a home away from where I was staying at. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I started learning how to do the big beats and everything. Buddha had the ASR there, so Buddha taught me how to work the ASR. Then you know what I'm saying, had other cats that was showing me stuff, and then I was just started doing things on my own. You know what I mean? Because I always had an ear for tracks anyway. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So then when Coffee Con Family first started like recording and everything, a lot of beats. I basically started out producing. You know what I mean? Before cats always heard me spit and everything else. I was always doing my own little side thing, but my main thing back then was producing. So and like come next year, I'm gonna get back into that.
So it's gonna be a lot of noise coming. You know what I'm saying? But like learning all that. You know what I'm saying? And like Papa always had me around him. You know what I'm saying? So it was just crazy. You know what I'm saying? You get to be around dudes on their ups and downs and everything. Like when he first took me to 36 Chambers, and I'm sitting there with the whole clan. I'm watching all these dudes in this one room. You know what I mean? I was like,
Amazing.
wow. You know what I mean? And then you know what I mean? And then like from there, I know that I can actually, you know what I'm saying, put in that work to get to that type of level. Or if anything, you know what I mean, a level to where that I'm good. So I watch everybody, I learn from everybody. I mean like every time Meth come in we used to bob heads to give a bang. It was good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I
Hmm.
watch all these personalities when they on their good days and their bad days, and I learn from all that. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, when it came to be to the point to where I got to start doing what I have to do. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, I didn't really have like nobody to really talk to. You know what I mean? I just do it. Fuck it. I think of something and I just do it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
And then
More like spur of the moment.
you know, everybody will watch me from afar, and then when I produce the work, it's like crazy. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I'm always in my own type of lane.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I will always produce something that's gonna be meaningful, and that's gonna like last. That's gonna take that test of time. You
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like I tell a lot of people, it's a difference between a song and a record. A song is only what it is, a
Facts.
song. A record, that shit is timeless.
Hmm.
That's one thing I will say,
No, I
and
mean
that's
that's the yeah.
his creative process is definitely crazy. Like anytime we've collaborated on records, it's always been something different. It's never the same type vibe. It's never the same topics. It's always like a whole new situation. You know what I'm saying? So that I can definitely attest to.
Now I did read in the
Like
questionnaire
like
the
like like
question.
like it's a joint on my album that me and it's a joint on my album that me and Karnage did called Wolves. Wait till y'all hear that shit.
Yeah, that joint is dope.
That shit is fucking crazy.
Now I
You know
did
what I
read
mean?
on
So
the questionnaire
you
that
know,
we sent you out, Dungeon, that one of your major inspirations is your kids. How many kids do you have?
I got three. My son right now, he's doing a bid. He got caught up in a situation he had no business get himself caught up in.
Hmm.
But then again, when people do musical houses, things
Hmm.
like that would normally happen within the household. And it's not really to blame on anybody in all reality. It's just circumstances that happen. So all parties have to come together to ride this shit out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So he's good. You know what I mean?
Good
My
to hear.
daughter, she about to be like 11. You know what I mean? At the end of the month, so I'm gonna do the Christmas thing and spend a birthday with her and everything. We don't. I haven't been with her for a while. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I've been so busy like doing what I do, so I had to like a lot of times I would just hermit myself just so I could work.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then behind this COVID thing, it was a perfect opportunity. And then someone actually told me something that actually made more sense to a little bit to me. It was like, dude, you know why God put this COVID shit on the planet? I was like, why? He was like, because the world needs to catch up to you now.
Mm.
That's a
Wow.
perspective.
That's
You
deep
know
as
what I
fuck.
mean?
Yup.
The world needs to catch up to you now. You know what I'm saying? And it comes to a realization that I had years ago when I started getting more deep into my music that a lot of music that I make will be ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself? Because
That's
I
how
know a
you
lot of.
create. That's that's how
I
you
make.
create timeless music. You just how you can create timeless music. You can make a banger right now and don't have to put that shit out until you feel like it. That could be anywhere between now to 20 years from now.
Right.
Facts.
Now,
Yeah.
a lot of my creation
Now,
process.
do the killer beat up. Let's say you make a joint today, hot. Every time you hear it, you want to punch a hole in the wall. Now, something tell you don't put it out yet. The next year come, you want to do it. You hear it. Every time you hear it, you want to punch a hole in the wall. But then don't do it yet. Now, 5 years later, you listening to us out now, out then. You know what I'm saying? We 5 years in the future. We listening to us out now. Hold up, I may got something for all that. Now you pull out the joint that make you want to punch a hole in the wall. You understand what I'm saying?
Better have a lot of sheetrock. He might those all the walls. Like, I feel like where our creation process, like music is therapeutic. Do you find yourself creating music to get away from current issues and shit like that?
I have to create music. I have to create music to keep myself from hurting people because I got a thing for putting my hands around people's necks and choking them, especially when I'm around idiotic shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like seriously, like I'm dead ass, like yo, like I've been through so much shit ever since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Now we're gonna go before the music shit. Let's say public school. I was around motherfuckers that I was constantly fighting during public school. Every other day I'm in the principal's office.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because
he knew you by
didn't
name.
like my energy. What it was like? Listen, as soon as I come in, go ahead, sit down on your chair.
Mm-hmm.
No,
you know what I mean, because I was, and then go ahead.
I had a little brother just like that in school, and a lot of his triggering was because we lost our mother, because our father wasn't there, because we was all in foster care. What were your triggers for wanting to be so physical and aggressive?
My trigger was because my father wasn't around, and at that time I didn't know who my pops was. Even though my pops was right there, but I grew the way my mom's had me. My mom's had me like at a little naive state when I was a kid. You know
So
what I mean?
she was like, oh,
shit.
she was trying to be like childish about the relationship.
Nah, it wasn't about that. The thing was, she was keeping me away from certain things in the hood that was popping at the time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Then when I ask a question about it, she'll throw it off.
So that void of just not being able to connect with him as a man, period, was just frustrating in general.
Well, not only that, but I was always a little angry dude anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was just like that and shit. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, like I had a decent. My mom's provided a decent childhood for me and my brother. I just had to do other shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
It always was like that. You know what I'm saying? Even when my pops was around, it was always the same shit. I had to do other things. I get bored real easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I got bored so easy to the point where I dropped out of junior high school. But yeah, I passed all the goddamn tests every time it was test time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I had to start. That's when I first started finding music during that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Son of Sam. You know what I'm saying? Was like one of our, you know what I'm saying? That's a cousin and shit. You know what I mean? So it was like I was under him at that time when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? He kept me off the streets by doing the music. You know what I mean? Showing me how to format bars on my shit and everything. He even put me on his joint when he started his first album. We were supposed to have been signed when Gangstar was signed, but he got locked up. So that right there just went out the window. You know what I mean? And now it's to the point that where, you know what I'm saying, now my cousin's home, so we do whatever. You know what I'm saying? So now I had to get him just the same way he got me. Because
Right.
that's what we do for each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So a lot of
And
your
there's a lot of
family,
times he seen me with this like this, huh?
I was saying a lot of your family was constructed through people that, helped you grow musically.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? And then like my grandmother, she was a minister, so my uncles and them would be playing, and then I was amazed at them playing the instruments. For
Did you
some
ever try
strange
playing
reason, I
any
watched my
instruments?
uncles play guitars, huh?
Did you ever try to play any instruments?
Of course, I play guitars here and there. I play with the keys.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
That's how I
cool.
make my beats.
Right.
you know, I would watch them play the instruments, and then me seeing them play, me seeing anybody play an instrument, it soothes me for some strange reason.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like an ongoing high, but it's a good ongoing high.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's something that soothes you, and it's something that will take your mental where it needs to be, even when you do feeling depressed and want to wild out. I go through those type of chambers on a regular basis. However, and I'm only gonna speak for myself, but I got grandkids, so there's certain things I can't do anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I can't put myself in any type of position that's gonna stop my son from getting bread every month in his bed. And I told him, "You lucky you getting that, because when I did my bid, ain't nobody gave me shit.
Right.
Wow.
You was
Yeah,
basically
you was
taking.
on
I
your
did
own.
my bid by myself. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? I ain't called my moms for shit. I did my bid by myself and came home with ah. So what you're getting right now is called a luxury. You better stretch that motherfucker.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, even though I got his back, there's still a lesson that needs to be taught behind this shit.
How old is your son?
He just turned. He should be like 27.
Mm.
He's still young.
Yeah, he's still young.
Yeah, yeah. Come on, man. He still ain't pitting. I mean, come on. He still ain't even pitting it straight. But
Mm-hmm.
shit happens.
Right. He's still trying to figure out,
I mean,
his path.
as a parent, I gotta hold it down. And at the end of the day, I've been there. So he got someone that can relate to him. I know how that shit
Mm-hmm.
is. Being in that belly.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know the type of idiotic shit that happens over there. You got motherfuckers that will scam you. You got motherfuckers that will try to push you to do other shit. And then don't start beefing with a motherfucker that got a name. Then you gotta look over your shoulder. You gotta start fucking using your toothbrush, turning your toothbrush into a little poker and shit. And then every chance you get,
Fake
you gotta
life.
do the uppercut of the neck. I mean, come on.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I mean, shit. Every chance you get, you gotta uppercut a nigga in the neck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? One time, bang.
Mm.
You know
Have
what I'm
you ever
saying?
felt
Like
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 you were
that
in
shit is too much work.
when you were moving with these different crowds? I'm talking about like the younger stage. Did you ever feel like certain crowds were pushing you in the wrong direction deliberately just to see you go to extremes, or did you feel like it was all self motivated?
Hell yeah, yeah, of course. That's what happens when you're little and shit, and you're around a bunch of other motherfuckers, and everybody want to belong to do something. Everybody
Right.
have the sense of wanting needing to belong to something.
Hmm.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
true.
It was plenty of times I'm with a crew of dudes and shit. Don't nobody really know each other, and we running through Prospect Park beating up people. And by the time we finish doing that shit, 10 of us is locked up already. But they
Mm.
can't do nothing because we all too young.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's only so much they could do. See, one thing about New York, you could get away with murder, literally in New York, as long as you know how to do the fucking knowledge and with the laws. I mean, you got cats that get off these laws off technicalities, and
Hmm.
technicalities is law. You
Right.
can't go against your own law. What that makes you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's like during those times growing up, like 80s, basically like in the 80s. You know what I'm saying?
Back in the
Music was
day.
just getting where it was getting at. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop was starting on another hard on a different note than these other dudes. You know what I'm saying? And then the new Jack City era just started coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the money was crazy. You had Ed Koch was man. Then when Ed Koch turned the reins to David Dinkins, come on, B. New York was rich back then.
Mm.
It was getting.
Now I know,
You know what I'm
like
saying?
during Carnage and I's, like coming up, like a lot of gang activity was real impressionable, but I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it was a different tone in comparison to when you was coming up. It had more meaning to it. I feel like in your
Mm-hmm.
era. What is with you
we
being able
came
to
we came
witness it all?
from we like when we was doing our street thing, it was more of a loyalty aspect.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Everybody was eating. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody try to like to jump over nobody's throats because the you know what I'm saying?
It was like
Everybody's
a
in this shit for a
mutual
goal. You know what I
respect.
mean? Right. You know what I mean? And then you had dudes that would click up and form their little families, but everybody would control their own shit.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Cats would just get together. You know what I mean? They'll shoot dice. You know what I mean? Sit down, kick the shit. You know what I mean? Back then, you had your cliques. You know what I mean? But everybody stayed where they belong. Ain't nobody cross nobody's shoes. Ain't nobody step on nobody's
Mm-hmm.
shoes and none of that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Back then, everybody was about getting their ones. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? The game got saturated to the point that where it's sad, man. It's so sad that it's like, yo, B, and they trying to do it so slick, and it's obvious to a fucking cat. Come on, man. I look at like I keep up what's going on in my hood, right? You know what I mean? It's a news app that I see everything that goes on in my neighborhood, B. And when I look at that shit, I look at it every day because it reminds me of why I'm still doing what the fuck I'm doing. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? And like it's sad to see the senseless killings and shit now. And the fucked up thing was
Yeah.
back in the days I was one of the motherfuckers that took part in that shit. But back then it was for a purpose.
Yeah.
When cats was doing
Mm-hmm.
what we was doing in the streets, it was for a purpose. These niggas is just
Just for the hell
it's
of
just
it now.
everything that went to shit. Everything that
Everything is
went to shit.
for
So
false reputation.
Hmm.
yeah, like it was something I heard not long ago. That what this dude Good said. Good said selling drugs right now is so 2012. I was dying laughing, but the shit makes so much sense.
So before we get into this next break, let us know a little bit about this song Dungeon Dreams.
Well, Dreams is the last single that we put out. You know what I mean, from Dirty Klansman. On there is me, Dizzy Disaster, and Eddie Hispanic. You know what I'm saying? The track was produced. You know what I'm saying, by Smooth Match Beats. It's a banger. That's all. It's a banger.
You know.
All right. All right. So members of the Klansmen is on this track. We're gonna go ahead and play this track, take a little quick break real quick, and then we'll come back with more questions for Dungeon Master. It's Allies of the Throne Radio, y'all. Peace.
Uh,
Yo, Rover. Yo. Dirty.
This nigga. What's wrong with you, Carnage?
Oh, the behind the scenes people.
Something wrong. Something wrong with it for real.
Oh man, that was good.
All right, so when we come back, uh, I hope y'all got a couple questions for him. Lead us into the last half hour, and then we're gonna wrap up with that last track that he has. Can't Keep Me Down. Let him explain a little bit about that.
Can't keep good,
But
man.
I am kind of interested in you know how he managed to make his name. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Make his mark in the woo, because he does bring out a lot of people in retrospect to his set and everything that he does musically inclined. So I think a lot of people would
That
be
is
interested about finding out about that, because a lot of this shit gets lost. Because like you said, so much shit is happening
Sure, it
nowadays.
was him that got you and I connected.
Hmm. Right,
I knew Dungeon before y'all.
right. A lot of people don't know that either.
Nope.
shit. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Dungeon was the one who got me and Rico connected.
Hmm.
I've been around Dungeon for a while.
So shit, same here. Dungeon is the one that connected me and Russ. Really.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
and
do.
then Rico connected me to you.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
how we all met.
The rest is history.
pretty
Here
Like
much.
I
we
said,
are.
no coincidences and nothing.
Right.
No reasons for all this.
Hmm. Less than 30 seconds on the song. And
And
we are
we
back.
back.
Allies of the Throne, Season 2, Episode 5. We here live and direct with the one and only Dungeon Master. Getting back to our
Yeah,
interview.
yeah. Hey.
We were just discussing during our little break, how many different connections you personally have made, uh, with so many walks of life. Some of us who never even would have known each other had it not been for your intervening, so to speak. Like Lena was just making reference to knowing you before she knew me, and that's how we got connected. And Karnage was making reference to the connections he made through knowing you. Um, I feel like a lot of people with everything that's going on tend to forget the history of a lot of people. Kind of go into a little bit how you made your name a household name under the Wu umbrella.
Well, let me tell you the crazy story, right? I'm in the
Hmm.
crib, you know what I mean? Like, this is when this internet shit first came out and all that. So, I'm recording everything, you know what I mean? I'm putting my project together. The first joint, right, it was called Project Oblivion, the Vintage,
Hmm.
and everything. Buddha helped me with that, put it out through chamber music and everything. Um, I had made a MySpace page, right?
Ooh.
And from out of everywhere, you know what I mean? Because, like, I had seen Dirty and everything, so, we was going to link up soon. So, next thing I know, I'm getting all these requests, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. Now on the street side, I'm with Ray Sean, and you know what I'm saying? Me and Ray Sean go back since public school.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we connected. It was bound to happen anyway. You know what I'm saying? So with that, and then like when Dirty was locked up, you know what I mean? A lot of times I was on standstill, so I had to start making my own moves. You know what I mean? That was one thing that Dirty always taught me. Dirty was like, listen, watch and start planning your shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna have you doing this. I mean, he was just basically was giving me pointers on certain shit, and I actually had to do homework and report back to this man.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Dirty gave me my lessons. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Dirty gave me my lessons, and Allah Real gave me my name. And Papa Wu had me under the wing after Dirty got locked up. You know what I'm saying? And it was, you know what I'm saying? And it was with Papa Wu and Allah Real Life. You know what I mean? I'll be right there with them. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And then, you know, I would learn from them, and then I would just do me. And then, like, you know, I have a thing for, like, reaching, like, I like to reach out to people. You know what I'm saying? And I like to hear different shit. Everybody that I reached out to and everything, everybody had a vibe with them, and it was very strong and it was very positive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? It was like you could get that family vibe. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? You could get
Yeah.
that feel. You know what I mean? You know that type of shit when you encounter certain people and shit like that. That's what make motherfuckers like us so rare. You know what I mean? And then that's what keeps our relationships as long as it lasts like that, because we all have an understanding. We all is the fucking same. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, our goal is to fucking win. We got fucking kids, and we got legacies to fucking keep and all that shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Now,
Word.
with
You know what I'm
with your
saying? But
grand.
like I like traveling, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And I encounter a lot of people when I travel and shit, and I meet a lot of good people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
With your
I meet a
grandkids,
lot of good people everywhere I go.
with your grandkids being in
Hmm?
the mix, with you having grandkids, like what would
Right.
you advise them as far as not being able to repeat some of the mistakes or some of the things you've seen in life for them to move forward?
Well, I could say it like this. When it comes to them, I'll make sure that they protect it. That's a given. You know what I mean? Even when they do encounter fuck shit,
Hmm.
because I'm not going to be around all the time. So at the end of the day, I have to settle for, well, not really settle, but like just basically just be aware of what's going on around them, you know, and you know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, like it is a family thing, so you know we all come together and we make decisions pertaining to them. You know what I mean, and other decisions that's made pertaining to them, you know what I mean, always make sense. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I see what I see. You know what I mean,
True.
and it don't take nobody to argue about something that's common sense. Because if there's an argument and a discussion containing kids, that's because you allowing your ego to let you take you somewhere you don't need to be.
Hmm. Now, you did mention that
It
one of
comes to having a conversation. Mm,
you had mentioned that one of your hardest life's battles was at one time yourself. Describe that to us.
well, at the end of the day, at one time I was my own worst enemy
In what way?
because I have a thing for catching the fuckets.
Symptom, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
after a while, there's so many times you can say fuck it. You can
Yeah.
still say fuck it, but it has to be very meaningful now. Because right
Mhm.
now we all living through a pandemic, and then like I always tell people, these are the times where you really see motherfuckers for who they are.
Yeah.
So you have to be mentally ready for that shit. You have to be mentally ready to encounter these motherfuckers coming at you as it stays left now because they got nothing else better to do. You hear the word pandemic, everybody's stuck on stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
So you have to be willing. So you have to be willing, even in this business, encountering people. You have to also learn that you're going to encounter the stuck on stupids.
Right.
Hmm.
And nobody got no time to be choking nobody out right now. So we have to be bigger motherfuckers and look at these motherfuckers like they are stuck on fucking stupid. Let them
Right.
say what they gotta say. Let it keep it moving. Everything else, if it's beneficial, get the job done, get it over with, keep it moving.
With how your family tree is
With
growing, what are some of your fears during this pandemic?
I don't really have no main fears, honestly, cause like I do what I normally do anyway. I stay to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I only come out when I need to come out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And especially during this pandemic shit, I gotta look towards anything happens to me, like these kids don't get fed and don't shit get taken care of. I have businesses and
Hmm.
everything under my belt. I have a lot of things that need to be taken care of. So right now, I cannot put myself in certain positions that will take myself away from that. No matter how badly I want to take a baseball bat and slap the shit out of somebody. Certain things you just don't do right now at this present moment of time. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You have to be bigger than that. Get your head out your ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's a bigger picture involved, and there's a lot of shit that's going on. And then you got motherfuckers walking around and shit talking about aliens and reptilians and shit. I mean, and they got these motherfuckers believing this shit. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
if these motherfuckers could get a whole bunch of motherfuckers believing this shit, anything is fucking possible. So you gotta
Right.
be mentally fucking right to deal with these motherfucking fuck shit. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? Because it's the bigger picture of all. Someone got to be the motherfucker that got to protect your family from this fuck shit, man. Too much fuck shit going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's right there in front of your face. Like, fuck shit. Fuck shit.
I'm here.
And you're standing there like, what the fuck? Now, normally, you would want to slap the shit out of every fucking body because you know they know fucking common sense. But guess what? Fuck shit allows these motherfuckers to lose all common sense. You know what I mean? So when you
I know
realize that
exactly what you
motherfuckers is
mean.
constantly doing that shit, when you realize these motherfuckers is doing that shit, and you
Mm-hmm.
hip to that shit, you know what you gotta do. You gotta just be quiet and just watch the fuck shit. And then you do a you roll up an L, you walk off to yourself. If you feel the need to scream or something, just grit and do a if you got to get that out, just go outside and broke up like the Hulk one time. Fuck shit. And you go back inside like nothing
That's
ever
one way
fucking
to
happened.
get deal with the depression.
Right. Right. What are
And
some
you
what
go
are
back
some things
inside
that you're
with a
doing to
smiley on
deal
your
with
face.
what are some things that you're doing to deal with a lot of this quarantine lifestyle we live in right now, like other than smoking, you know what I mean?
Dude, I was a dude that was locked. I was a dude that was locked up. Quarantine is nothing.
Right. Right. It's a
I did
state of mind.
a bit of quarantine from the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So me quarantining myself from this fuck shit, no
Hmm.
problem.
Right.
That's what video messages is for.
Right.
Oh wow. That's good.
Yeah, that is true. Have you had any
Like real talk, man. Because like listen, man. Like think about it. When this shit was strong, a cough was laying you the fuck out.
yeah.
Mhm.
So common sense tell anybody that got a fucking brain to take fucking precautions.
Right.
And you're dealing with a shady government too that don't know nothing. All they
Hmm.
know is their fuck shit. And their
Right.
fuck shit is affecting us and it's creating other fuck shit that don't need to be.
Hmm.
So now we have to sit back and see this shit. Gotta see this shit out. because they're gonna keep throwing darts at us, and then at the same time, police is still gonna keep murdering our people.
Yeah.
But they're gonna try to find a way to do it more on the low without the cameras being involved. They're gonna
Oh yeah.
always figure something out.
With everybody being
You
inside,
know
ain't
what
no
I'm saying?
cameras
And
in
on
sight.
top of that shit, and then on top of that shit, these young dudes is like I just saw a clip this morning, right? A chick got out her crib, jumped in the car. When she backed up, dude pulled out from the corner, stopped her from backing up, and started popping at the bitch. The bitch drove off. Duke reversed the truck. Next thing you know, Shorty runs right back in the crib. She drives right back in front of the crib. So then the truck drives right back to the side. Busts off a couple of more shots at her. And during all this time, her girlfriend is on the side crying like a hyena. Ah! 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 Don't hear no one talk about call 911. But if Duke would have really called her, she wouldn't even be able to move that car.
Damn.
Her moving that car saved her life.
Right.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So when you get to look at shit like that on video, besides the police killing us, it gives you a different type of thinking now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And me coming from a certain cloth, I take certain shit like that personal.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got kids and I got grandkids that be around these type of neighborhoods and all that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
And straight bullets ain't got no name on them.
No, they don't.
Right. You feel me? Right. You know what I mean? And I don't even want to go to that chamber. Bad enough I lost my mom's and Papa Wood last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still mentally fucked up behind that. However, I gotta still make this shit happen.
Right.
Regardless of the tragedy, I have to turn this shit into a silver lining. I have to take all these emotions and all this built up fucking anger, because that's all I do have right now is built up anger. The only thing that I love about this built up anger, it makes me go harder on this music.
Yeah.
You know how to transform
That's
it.
how my thought process, like, yeah, that's how, like, a lot of times my thought process will work. I would get so fucking mad that where I will start tearing, and then I'll come up with something.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been right there to
Music
witness
is
your creation process myself, so I definitely know what you're talking about. And half the shit that be coming out your mouth, I don't be expecting at first. I'm be like, oh shit, this nigga really making some shit. Had to
Daddy.
mind for a second.
you know, and I ain't gonna lie. Whenever I get in that chamber, G, that's when I feel more comfortable, when I'm really in that chamber.
Mm-hmm.
See, a lot of times, like, I'm like that cat that's been pushed in the back and shit that like to fight. I'ma stay in that corner and box it out with you motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how I like to take that music and shit. You know what I mean? Especially like when I'm going to a chamber and shit, and I got that feeling deep inside that I really want to just, you know what I mean? I want to turn it into like a audio masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear it and you can feel it as you're hearing it. You know what I mean? It's very sudden that you get hear joints like that anymore now.
So
You know what I mean? You
going
can
towards
sit
the
down and
going towards the future, we
you're right.
know that you do a lot of collaboration tracks with the Dirty Clansmen. What solo project do we get to look forward to where Dungeon Master is talking about all these upheavals in reference to Dungeon's own perspective?
Well, the Foolish Samurai project is basically done.
Mm-hmm.
I got like a couple of more spices to that stew. Then I'm gonna put that pot in the stove. You know what I mean? So that right there should be ready by March.
Okay.
I would normally do a November thing with it, but nah. You know what I mean? We on a different plane now. I listened to the Legacy project that we're about to put out, G, and I noticed the evolution in that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I can honestly say that that's like the perfect sophomore album to the Dirty Truth, yo.
Yeah.
I couldn't be more fucking proud of that shit because all my niggas put their heart and they put their fucking pain on that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That shit is it's one of those. It's a real feel good shit, G. And Karnage, man, lovely brothers. Oh, that shit is, man. Listen, you heard?
Yeah, he talking to you, Xbox guy. Hey, I'm gonna call you out, motherfucker.
like real talk, man. I love my brothers, man. You know what I mean? Thick and thin, boy. When we get together, B, that shit is like fucking. It's like tearing up the space-time continuum, G. We creating a whole new timeline.
Facts.
Yes.
If you could get us all in one building, it's a problem.
Definitely a problem.
So before we close out this segment, man, I wanna be able to play this last track that you gave us, but give our listeners a little bit background about Can't Keep Me Down.
All right, y'all about to get hit in the head with an exclusive. You know what I mean? Cat out the bag. Salute to DJ Wiz. You know what I mean? That's another brother that's part of this Dirty Klansman thing. You know what I'm saying? Wiz been there for like eons with us, man. And this right here is a single that's gonna be on the Foolish Samurai project, which is my album and shit. This is basically myself, including, you know what I'm saying, the legendary Snoop Dogg, you know what I'm saying, Judah Priest, and that's, you know what I'm saying, Can't Keep Me Down, man. And you're only gonna hear it right here, because after this, you want to get it when it's released, and it's gonna be released January 1st. We're gonna start the new year off something different.
Word.
All right.
And who's on the track again?
Dungeon Master, myself, Snoop Dogg, LBC Finest, Judah Priest, you know what I mean, 144, Zoo Bullies. You know what it do, Dirty Klansman definitely in the building, man. 10th Chamber with that.
All right, Don, we appreciate you for coming on the show, man. We're going to play this track. Shout out to all our listeners, man. Like I said, this is episode 5, season 2, Hours of the Throne Radio. Peace.
You're listening to Wu-Tang Management and Protect Your Next Records go-to DJ, DJ Wiz. Yo, Wiz, drop it. DJ Wiz, get something to move.
All that talking and what's up right now. All these people trying to count me out. And I understand what it goes. Y'all can't keep me down. All that talking when I'm not around. You could do it all, you can knock me down. You could try to keep it on the low, but y'all can't keep me down.
We clout, chasing currency, burning Hamey, hookah lamps, smoking genies. Niggas that can beat me, cut them down with the semi. Shorty got waffle and pancakes, give me. Don't disturb me even for emergencies. You hear me? You're not worthy. Worms need catching, so I get them early, bird. Bitches with their hands out, call them swirly. It's 6 o'clock, it's dungeon 7:30. In the kitchen, heart got colder. Still shaking, plus the motor of the art. You can't no restart. Silent killer, spitting roach parts. Henny drinking hood Mozart. On my Klansman, it's 30. Recipe for disaster, leave me bleeding. Before Sebastian bury you under the sea. Please, your life expectancy is shorter mentally, not for me. In the back, Pokemon Bob Marley. 10th Chamber.
All that talking and what's up right now. All these people trying to count me out. And I understand what it goes. Y'all can't keep me down. All that talking when I'm not around. You could do it all, you can knock me down. You could try to keep it on the low, but y'all can't keep me me down. No bravado, money up front, living like I'm in a rap lotto. Read, he see me, we G, O, get it, O, fit it, committed, done did it, omitted, it's just cracking, back up in my Cadillac, hustling, showing y'all getting those hatches, quite lucrative, banging and slanging my package, learn how to move with this, precision and vision is how I'm doing it, I keep it going, it's snowing, I think I'm through with this, enormously known but so gratuitous. A lot of Patron, you know my crew is sick. Doggy style in your mouth, quick to break them shit. I buckle and blow with hustle and flow. West representing everywhere that I go. I'm tipping the foe, gripping the dough, whipping it slow. This pimping the show. Now you know we the best, we the fresh. Point blank, we the west. We tatted up, gadded up, wooded up, counted up, mounted up, added up. There's no equivalent. Shaking and shivering, cake we delivering, making all the dividends and never going back to the pen again.
All that talking, it was tough right now. All these people trying to count me out, and I understand what it goes if y'all can't keep me down. All that talking.
I like it.
Yeah, it
I
sounds
like it.
We're gonna be working on Red October, so you get to see the
yeah.
caliber of shit we gonna be getting.
Nice.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was just about to say that I'm gonna need you to ring that bell, ding ding ding, and set up a meeting where you, him, and I can all
Skype.
right and get this because I want him to take this shit serious. I don't want to be on the back burner with him because I know he busy, but you know what I mean. I know when it's time to work, nigga, we gonna get this shit done.
You know how he do. He'll hand out beats and then be out. So
like Phantom of the Opera and shit. Like, nah, bro, we need your undivided attention, and we need to get it done. Sap.
where I see it, because I know he's gonna ghost out because of all the shit he got going. So once we get the beats, we work on the project, get it done. By the time, and if we get it done before he comes back, that's great. If we ain't heard from him by the time we ready to start mastering, I'm gonna get at him. Like, fuck that. Like, hey,
I know he got a
it's done.
Dropbox.
It's promo time.
Just reconfirm that Dropbox is still good with the beats that he gave, and then we're gonna start moving on that shit starting next week.
Yeah, what's the name? Give me a list of the beats that's in there.
I don't even have access to it. That's what I was gonna tell you because my Dropbox was full, so I had to move some shit around to get into some other folders that I was working on previously.
I was gonna say take a screenshot or something so I could send it to him just to let him know what beats we taking. I got some of those beats in here still, so I'm gonna go through here and send him a screenshot like, yo, this all the shit we got for Red Hot, and this what we're using. Send more shit.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, bitch.
Right.